So we're out here in nature doing some Taurus things today with the Scorpio full moon. And I want to talk about the Taurus and Scorpio polarity and this full moon energy. And so how astrology works with the opposite sign, with your sister sign, if you will. So Taurus and Scorpio being the sister signs to each other. If you have too much Scorpio energy, the medicine is Taurus. And if you have an excess of Taurus energy, then the medicine is going to be Scorpio. And I think for a lot of people in this day and age, myself included, we can go too deep with the Scorpio stuff. We can do too much shadow work, too much self-reflection, too much psychoanalysis on our own fucking self, going so deep into the Scorpio cave that you lose yourself there at times. And we think that that we're doing good work going there. It's like placing more importance on doing the shadow work and going deep and getting to the root of things and why is it there and where's it coming from and when did it get there and how do we get it out, the trauma, pulling it up to the surface. And so the Taurus energy is the opposite. And it's honestly, I need to work on it because I'm not incredibly comfortable with the Taurus energy. I'm much more comfortable with Scorpio. And so the Taurus energy, the balance to that, if Scorpio is intensity and complexity and going deep into things, Taurus is simplicity. It's slowing down, it's smelling the flowers, it's taking your time while you're eating, enjoying the pleasures of life, your five senses. So you can see that when the Scorpio energy gets overwhelmed or it gets too in its head or too much like in its emotions, really, but it's very psychoanalyzing things all the time, constantly more or less like reading into everything and surveying people, monitoring people. It's a great investigator, it's a great therapist because they notice every single thing, but it can also be incredibly draining, right? This is consuming your energy when you're constantly entering into other people's energy bubble and trying to, read them psychically or just trying to, prevent possibly something traumatic from happening by reading other people's energy. And then it's like you're hyper vigilant and you're constantly kind of monitoring and seeing what's going on around you. And so this is incredibly draining, and we have to remember to pour back into ourselves. And that's really what the Taurus energy represents. The highest expression of Taurus is connected to Buddha, right? So it's the inner stability, the inner security, the inner confidence and coming from that space, moving from that space. And so Taurus and Scorpio both can teach us about trust, about attachment, because both of them, it's fixed. They're both fixed, right? It's fixed energy. It holds on to things. It doesn't want to let things go. Both signs can be quite possessive, quite controlling, quite all-consuming. And so these signs, Taurus reminds us of the simplicity of life. And, when we have, again, too much of that Scorpio energy, to slow down, to go outside, to, instead of turning the focus inwards with Scorpio, and with this full moon, there could be stuff coming up to the surface. Sure, hopefully, more the layers, we're peeling back the layers to get to a deeper level of healing. We're purging and releasing things. We're purging physically and emotionally, letting go of stuff that we've been holding on to. And so, yes, when we are too much in that Scorpio energy, the antidote being Taurus, being removing the focus from going inward, the psychoanalysis, the deep inner work that we all probably love to do or are encouraged to do in our society and our culture. And I think obviously it's incredibly important. It's kind of like all the work that I do. But the Taurus energy is equally important, if not maybe more important, where we are not turning the focus inward, but it's more outward in just observing the present moment, simplicity, slowing down, touching grass, breathing the air, like embodiment with Taurus. It's about integration and embodying the lessons that we've learned. And so maybe things will be coming up today. I've already cried multiple times. I don't even know why. I'm just crying, walking around in the forest. It's so beautiful. And so, yes, the things that come up, that's great. How about we go into nature and we can hold ourselves with the same grace and love and compassion as we would for a small animal, because I'm in communication with the squirrels here now. And so if we can just, yeah, make things more simple. I really hate saying this because the Taurus energy is not the most comfortable thing for me. It's really strange how that works, because Scorpio in and of itself is quite uncomfortable, but that state is more natural for maybe a lot of us, to go deep, to want to get to the root of things, to want to psychoanalyze things. And so the medicine for us is to remove the focus from being so inward and just being in the present moment, observing, being in nature, smelling the flowers, like engaging all of your senses, touch, taste, smell. Taurus rules the five senses, and fully living, fully embodying, like relishing in life, in what's around us, in the senses, the things that are touching our senses, you know? So that's what I have to share today. I'm going to continue my walk in nature. It's been hours. No idea where I am. Somewhere in the UK listening to Celtic music for Beltane today. So I hope everybody has a beautiful full moon. I hope you cry and purge and release all of the things that are getting in the way of this next up level in life, because that's really what's going on. Aries season showed us and like presented us with this bravery and this courage that lives within us, and now Taurus season is about embodying that and stabilizing that. And the Scorpio energy simply shows us what's getting in the way, the fears, the hidden thought patterns that are beneath the surface that need to be reworked. So try giving it to nature. And both of these signs are teaching us about, again, attachment and control, and really highlighting our relationship with that, with the unknown, with letting go, with the inner stability and the inner security that we must have, that we must cultivate. The Taurus season is all about cultivating that inner belief in yourself and that inner stability, that inner security, so that you don't have to cling on to things outside of you for this false sense of safety and security.